Hey, folks, welcome to another episode of the Weed and Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, Rebel Professor Ryan Barton Lash, the eccentric enigma, along with my co host, Lania. Woo! Which, now that I just said it singularly like that, the nostalgia part in me just kind of equated your name to a Pokemon, especially the way you said it, like, Lania! Which,
All
can
these
we
years
talk
later,
about for a second how messed up Pokemon is? They have all them animals beaten and trained down to where they can only say their names. Yet Meowth is able to talk.
but that Meowth is different. Like, what? Like, really? Can we really talk about that though? That's a whole different episode of podcast. But we totally sanction the abuse of animals,
Yeah.
and
And
we
fighting
don't like dog
animals.
fighting. Yeah, exactly. We hate dog fighting here, but it's totally okay to fight two Charizards. Revolution.
Yeah, notice there's no chicken Pokemon.
For Pitbull Pokemon.
Yeah. All right. Now that we got that out of the way, we're doing Smackdown. That was a great way to start. Um, we got SmackDown May 2nd here. I actually didn't write down where they were. Which I usually do. But there's a lot that goes on tonight. A lot that goes on. You got LA Knight versus Damian Priest, Fraxium, Pretty Deadly. We got Miz versus Aleister Black, Zelina Vega versus Piper Niven. Like, oh man, we got to start when. That's the thing. The best part of the show, honestly, was the start of the show.
It really was.
When old Loins there was saying, I think we had the main event already.
Doesn't he say that every episode? Like, I feel like that's just his catchline now.
But he wasn't wrong. So
It was.
So this whole segment and lead up into it was great because it was a promo first, really, and focused out on Damian Priest there, who got in a confrontation with Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa. And then LA Knight passes by like he just don't give a fuck.
Which was great, actually.
Yeah. And he comes on out and does his let me talk to you. And talks about how he wanted his rematch. Instead, he got a number one contenders match. And Damian and Solo kind of messed that up. He's he said so. He called Solo Pumpkinhead looking ass.
I mean, yeah.
And then he was like, Jacob Fatu wants to come out here and use the ring as his own personal jungle gym. Yeah. And then Damian comes on out, and then they pretty much establish that they really don't have a problem with one another. That you just like, look, I wanted to shut Drew up. I hate Drew.
People understand that.
Yeah. and LA Knight's like, dude, you picked the wrong time. And Damian retorts with, look, Solo came at you with the Samoan spike. Really, if you would have gotten back in the ring, he would have claymored you. Then you would have gone down 1, 2, 3, and you would have lost anyways.
Yep.
And LA Knight's like, yeah, don't let your failures be mine. Just telling him about everything that he's gone through. And they really did get at each other because they both lost at WrestleMania. And And yeah, to the point where Damien says if your hand wasn't up your ass, you'd still be champion. And then they get into it and say, let's do it right now. Get a ref out. So, first match of the night, we get LA Knight versus Damian Priest. Get a good standard lock up, and then arm drag to arm bar. Another lock up with a headlock favored by LA Knight there. And then a big shoulder crash, and we get a little ab break. And then we get, like, the arm pulls. Because every time he was pulling his arm, the crowd was going, yeah. And then a big elbow from Damien, and then he, like, did this, like, press up face slam. That was really cool. And then we get another big kick, and then a kick out, then a good back body drop from LA Knight, and then he lays into the punches, and that signature neck breaker of his, kick out. And then he counters the South of Heaven with a follow-up clothesline that was really nice. Then Razor's Edge was stopped by a DDT. And then we get his leaping elbow and a kick out. And big head slam into the corner. Then they go into the outside and gets whipped into the barrier and then catches a big right. One thing I have to say about Damien, I think Damien might be the best striker in wrestling right now.
By making the looks of it, you talking about?
Yeah, and making it look. He also gets the sound in.
Yeah, I totally agree. Oh,
yeah,
I hope not. Oh.
He in comparison to Naomi,
I'm
who's on the worst end of that scale, right?
I mean, dude, let's not compare anything to that because that's uncomparable.
But then
I really hope she didn't mean to do that. I really hope she didn't mean to do that. She does all the time. They just can't not say anything to her. I'm sorry. Let's get back to what we're talking about. Just like, really though, it infuriates me. Like,
yeah,
y'all see this? We all see this. Everybody see this. Literally, I saw people that didn't watch wrestling posting memes about it the other day. I was just like, oh, so here's where we are. From Attitude Era to this shit. But, okay, let's continue.
God bless her. Yeah, and then we get an elbow and leg drop across the apron from LA Knight. And then they get into a punch out with each other, and then they do a double clothesline to one another. Right after that, This Is Awesome chants start. And then get a punch out like up on the turnbuckle with each other, and then Damien finally gets a Razor's Edge in. There's a kick out. Then LA Knight gets some chants going for him. Then that gets stopped with a broken arrow. Then finally, Loins came up with a good name for his move. When he does the jump up superplex, where he jumps up onto the top and does it, calling it the Megaplex.
Everything Loin says, I just hear Loins in my head. So the way I block him out is like ridiculous at this point. I heard him talk, but I didn't hear what he said at all during most that's all it is to me.
But Megaplex, and then a kick out, and then missed middle rope drop kick, and then gets a good flatliner to the apron. That's when Solo Sikoa comes in and attacks. But then LA Knight's able to get in, and he lays a BFT on him, and then him and Damien kind of have a meeting look of like, well, our match is over, but fuck him, right? And then but that the table was getting set up for, something to happen to it, but then Fatu comes out of nowhere with a suicide dive. And then he Samoan drops Damien up onto the desk, then gets a running ass attack to LA Knight up against the barrier there. But
The running derriere.
the running derriere, I like it. I like it. Yeah, but all in all, I'd say pretty decent match. I gave it a 6.5.
Yeah, I gave it a 7.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it. I think it was action filled. I think the guys are all great. Their interactions were hilarious and like nice. I couldn't say it was seamless, but it was a lot better than Naomi. So yeah,
Yeah.
if that's gonna be our like, no, we can't make that the standard because there is no standard there. But anyway, um, one thing I put down, I was really impressed by when LA Knight climbed back up the ropes and then Priest hit that razor edge. I was like, they set that up really nice without
Yeah.
making it too obvious, and that made me happy because I was like, what are you gonna do from this? What are you gonna do from here? I was really worried. They fixed that really nice for me, so I made a note of that, and I really did. I really thought I made a lot of notes, but I really did wrote a whole bunch of nonsense. So I'm done.
Yeah, I probably would have gone with a 7, but I'm also sick and tired of Solo interrupting matches, which
I mean,
that
that's
gets
just his
resolved
job
later.
now.
That gets
Yeah,
resolved later.
it does really lovely, but that's his job, Like,
Yeah, yeah. The man is at work.
and I mean, if I could be obnoxious and get paid, I'm
Yeah,
obnoxious anyway. So, hello.
yeah, yeah. But next up, we got Fraxium versus Pretty Deadly. Um, yeah. These guys. Once again, I've got notes on them. I think maybe a little bit more than last time. But my God, are these two boys fast?
They are.
They are
Yeah.
so fast.
I really don't have any notes besides they're high flyers and moving fast as fuck.
Yeah. And it's good. It's good for like someone like but even someone like me who I'm pretty good at like I can kind of watch a match and get all the notes that I want through it. But them boys are so fast that I usually have to go back like 10 seconds or 20 seconds, like watching the match and stuff, because I'll start writing down the last 3 moves that they did, and then they did 2 more before I'm even done writing it.
Yep.
But yeah, we get a standard lockup. First of all, and I didn't write it down beforehand, that Pretty Deadly kind of encountered them beforehand and were being hilarious. I didn't take notes on them, but they're hilarious. And then we get a standard lockup arm twist with a spin out drop kick. Get the speed kick, which is just Nathan Frazier being like, "Let me put it to you, Braun Breaker." I like, let's clock that man too, because I feel he's giving Braun's running for his money on the fastest off the ropes.
I mean, yeah, he's doing well.
Yeah.
Up there.
And then we get assisted corner stop with big arm drag, kick out. Then we get tag in kicks, hot tag, and then suicide dives. Then we get armbar, crossbody catch, to knee, to the face, to clothesline, and then it's an ab break.
That break was so like annoying in this one. Exact wrong spot.
Yep. And then get a hot tag springboard drop kick, get springboard DDTs, and then we get a standing shooting star press kick out. And we get a sit out power bomb kick out. And then we get the Spanish fly along with the Phoenix splash for the finish. But
the Phoenix splash is gorgeous.
It is. It is. Everything does it, like that's another thing I should kind of compliment too. Not only are these guys moving so fast, they're so precise with everything.
They are very precise. Their precision is
Yeah,
very like. There's not a lot of people in WWE that can match the precision at all. You
yeah,
know.
yeah. I'm sure Shawn Michaels is kind of because I've noticed since the draft tag kind of came back last year, um, of when certain times like certain people just get that NXT push, like Lyra Valkyria is one of them.
Yeah. Mhm.
To where they outgrew at NXT and they need to be shown off. And Fraxium has definitely been the poster boys for that.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's the whole point of them moving from NXT because NXT is like where you start, where you learn the business, and they
Mm-hmm.
see if you can like work within it. And I think they're doing a really good job at shaping those people up and getting rid of the ones they shouldn't.
Yep.
Getting rid of. Anyway,
But yeah, I gave the match a 7.
I also gave it 7.
Yeah, yeah, pretty good match. Um, next up we get B-Fab and Meechin and a Chelsea Green promo all wrapped up in one. Um, B-Fab and Meechin basically stating that they want a shot at the tag team titles. I'm all about that. I love those two. They should just call themselves bad bitches because they are like two of the baddest bitches on the roster right now. Uh, and then we get yeah, yeah. Then we get Chelsea Green coming in and talking about how she feels robbed of her United States title, and, and then it's like, why are you even the United States champion? You're not even from here. None of you are from here. Which I thought was pretty funny,
I
and
mean,
that
yeah,
sets it up though also for Selena Vega versus Piper Niven.
yep.
But I gave the promo a little 6. It was a little better than average. I thought it was pretty funny. So,
I give it a shit 5. They're lucky they didn't get 4. I was really stoned.
but next we got a Nia Jax promo. Speaking of low scores, um,
I mean, the promo, like, come on. Okay, we'll get into promo now. I'm not impressed.
yeah, she starts out by saying, "It sounds like you miss me," and I noted we didn't miss her.
No, not
Um,
at all.
and,
Nobody at all.
and then Tiffany Stratton enters the chat, and Tiffany says she'll defend at any time. And then Naomi enters the chat and talks about how Tiffany and Nia made her life hell, and she's no longer sweet. And then she tells some dude to shut up, and that she'll push you under her car. Oh. And then Jade comes out, thank God, and attacks Naomi. And Nick Aldis sets up a tag team match. But I gave that a segment of 3.
Yeah, yeah. I gave it a 2 because, hello, why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
It was everything you don't want.
Yeah. Yeah. And next up we get The Miz versus Aleister Black. This is a match that I almost wanted to do separate ratings for again, because these are two very different wrestlers,
Very, very, very much so.
and their styles do not mix.
I think it's just because the Miz sucks. It's not. It's not that other people's styles. It's just because the Miz sucks.
I can't say that I haven't seen Miz put on good matches before. I've seen him
He
put on,
has in
you
the
know,
past. We
yeah,
discussed this in one of our last video. He ain't
yeah,
the same Miz.
yeah, yeah. He's not, and he talks some shit before walking down, and talks about how he's outlasted everyone, and he's fighting to make him remember the Miz. and then brings up how Alistair didn't make it in a company after 5 years. And Miz starts out the match like a dirty pussy, and a
Oh, that's
lot of striking, slow burn pacing, double arm hold, and then we get a sliding tear down to the apron, which after that, Miz was outside of the ring for longer than a 10 count. I even rewound it back and counted it.
yeah. He sucks.
And then he comes back in and gives it an axe handle from the top. Then Alistair does a whole bunch of fast striking, and then does this springboard moonsault and a kick out, and then we get a DDT and a kick out. Then lays in some kicks to the chest, and Alistair is not selling those kicks to the fucking chest at all. That was honestly
Whatsoever.
that was honestly the best part of the match.
I mean, it looked like he was taking notes from Naomi. Like, I don't know what was going on.
And then he does a cartwheel out of the skull crushing finale, and then a roundhouse knee, and then a roll up kick out, and then his finish is called the Black Mass, when really it's just a spinning roundhouse kick.
Barely.
Yeah. And yeah, that was that match.
That was awesome.
Yeah. I gave it a 4. It was really slow. I think Alistair Black, who I don't watch enough AEW to be too terribly familiar with his style, and I didn't watch him when I wasn't watching wrestling when he was around in WWE. So this was my first real time like ever seeing him. I like that he's a striker. I like that he has this kind of like dark, twisted, dude that just wants to knock out a motherfucker. I like that, but that does not pair up well with Miz. Put Aleister Black in a match with Shinsuke Nakamura. I would love to see that match.
That'd be a better match. And it was a horrible match. I mean, I think the Miz is a horrible match for anybody at this point. And maybe just needs more training or something. I don't know. Maybe it's because his style is dated at this point. I don't know. But the Miz, I just can't do it. But I think it's just because he's going against the Miz, and the Miz is
and you saying that his style is dated. Good note to make of that. El Grande Americano, Chad Gable there. His style. I mean, Chad Gable had been wrestling the same exact way for years and years and years.
Mm-hmm.
He was the successor to Kurt Angle, basically. In that whole wrestling style, and definitely this whole gimmick, change up, but came along with a whole stylistic change up that has really given a whole second run on his career,
which I think is necessary.
Yeah.
The best wrestlers have done it. They would go on and come back, and some have changed their names. But I think staying fresh and revitalizing yourself is a good thing, especially in this industry. Things get old pretty fast. Trends move quickly. Slang changes, all those things. So essentially, keep up with it. So, and the Miz definitely did not. Like, all his stuff was really popular, like in the aggressive bitches era or whatever that was.
Yeah. Well, the thing with Miz is, I feel they shot away his opportunity when he betrayed R-Truth.
Yeah.
I think him being a babyface with R-Truth was the second run of his career that he needed, and they won the tag team titles, and he was getting cheered for the first time, and like he had even said in interviews that he was like, "I'm not used to this. It's cool."
Yeah, and I think they changed it up way too fast. They need to keep him there a little bit longer, because if they had done that, I think it would have been better for his character development.
They could have pivoted him into like a fucking into a baby face that Yeah, he used to be a bad guy, but he's been around a long fucking time, and now he's a veteran. You know?
Exactly. There's so
Yeah,
many things they could have done with them if they would have kept that and thought differently. But again, we don't work for creative.
yeah, we don't. We don't. Um, yep. And then next, but yeah, I give the match a 4. What'd you give it?
I didn't give anything, but I'm gonna go with a 4. That sounds good to me
Yep,
because everything we talked about, everything talked about.
yep. All right. And
Although I did write down my favorite part was the reference to Teddy Long.
yeah,
That was nice. I like it.
yeah.
Teddy Long needs more references. He was a
Fuck
great
yeah, he does.
everything.
Teddy Long's
So
the man.
he really was. One on one with Undertaker.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. I was about to say, and you're gonna face the Undertaker, which
Mm.
I loved when he had Teddy Long on his podcast, and Undertaker even made the joke. He was like, "That man kept me in work for a good couple years there. I knew
Yeah.
I knew every time I was showing up to work, I was gonna have a match that night because Teddy was running the show."
Yeah, as long as Teddy was there, the Undertaker go one on one with somebody. That was a good time, so
Yeah.
great character.
Yeah. Next up, we get Ray Phoenix and Santos Escobar. Little quick promo there. Escobar basically tells him that his match was a true embodiment of disappointment, and that he blew it at WrestleMania, and that on top of all that, he lost to El Grande Americano, and then he says hopefully Rey Mysterio is out forever. And then Ray Phoenix is like, stay out of my business. I'll see you tonight.
Mm.
So I gave that a 3.
I gave it nothing because to
Yeah,
me it was like
it was
worse.
nothing.
Yeah, no, it was worse
Yeah.
than nothing.
But next up, we get Selena Vega versus Piper Niven. And legit, I don't know if I said this when we were talking about SmackDown or not. I think I did. Selena's been putting on good matches. I just hope they pair her up, on this title reign with the right people,
Yep,
not
yep.
people
We did
like
talk about
Piper Niven. And who's the first person that they put her up against? Piper Niven.
because they want to again. They want to dig these characters in the corners, and they think we can't see it. Like we see you. We see you putting these characters in the corners that they can't break out of, and then next year it'll be next one's gone.
Yeah,
Again, gone.
yeah.
Anyway.
Um, yep. So, the match, we get an arm lock around the body, get a front face sit out power bomb, then a knee to the neck, and I do love the little salute that all three of them did right before the ad break. That was funny. And then we get forearms to the tit. Zelina was straight up throwing forearms into Piper's fucking boob. There, you can see it right there on the fucking camera. It's like she's hitting right there in the chest with her forearms just continuously.
Yep, the straight up titty shots.
Yep. See, the key to Piper Niven is that you gotta punch out her tits. That'll get the loins going, and then you're good. um, then then we get a corner crash, and then a lariat with the kick out, then a body slam, then another ad break. Then when they come back, just the boring pacing. Then we get a bottom slam, and then a senton and a kick out. Then we get a meteor from the middle rope, then a kick out, get a side slam, kick out, cannonballs missed, and then a body slam's countered by a DDT. Then we get a moonsault, kick out, and then Chelsea Green gets up on the apron, and Piper hits her by accident, and Zelina gets her in a roll-up finish.
the the
I gave it a 3.
the ending just pissed. Like I just okay. Yep. We're going with 3. I actually gave it a 2, but 3 sounds good also. No, I'm going with 2. I just there's so much just like the whip things and it just seems like we're going back to a time in women's wrestling that we don't want to go back to. Like
Yeah.
really showing all the professionalism and all the athleticism that we're becoming accustomed to. And stop, don't do that. We've seen where this goes before. We've been here.
Also, it has to say something about the roster of women too, in the fact that for me, okay, so your first match out with her as champ, one, she's not defending the title. And that's become a thing that I don't really like, how they're like doing these preliminary matches now, to where it's like, well, if she beats her, then maybe she'll get a title shot.
I was about to say, does anyone like actually have to do title shots anymore? It just seems like people have championships for years before they actually have to defend them
Yeah,
now. It's not like before.
Zelina had to face Chelsea Green 3 weeks in a row.
Oh yeah. Duh.
She had to face her the first week, but then it was a count out. Then the second time, she beat her. And then the third time, she beat her for the championship. It's like, and now it's like, why bother setting up these people for that? Why not? Okay, you have fucking BFAB. Okay, you have Michin right there. How about you put them in a match with Selena Vega, and then you have the Secret Hervis run out on them.
Yeah.
that 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 to me makes sense. But for whatever reason, putting her in another match with Piper, which she was in a match with Piper the week before those 3 weeks in a row, and it sucked then. So you got
Yeah.
Alba Fire
Yeah.
right there. Why not fucking Alba Fire?
Yeah. It's just
Now I'm giving it a 2. Changed it. Now that I've actually thought about the match, it sucked even worse.
And like Green has been so good. Not gonna, I was gonna say solid. I was like, no, smack myself face for that. But she's been like showing such a great skill, and like they're just changing the character slowly. I don't like seeing it. And same thing with Zelina. They're gonna ruin the characters. I feel like if they don't like get the momentum up on them and keep it up and give them actually solid matches, that means something.
Yeah, and also, you have all these other women's wrestlers that don't they don't all need to be in tag teams. Like, how come the only one-on-ones that we've been getting out of Smackdown for the last 5 weeks have all been Selena Vega?
Well, remember, some seem like tag teams, but it's just Liv Morgan coming down with her bodyguard-ish man, what lady woman?
Well, they're an actual tag team.
Yeah, but she's always with her, so.
Yeah, they're like the equivalent of HBK and Diesel.
Oh, how old we are.
Yeah, how old are we?
You said Diesel. Like, think about that. How
Mm-hmm.
long ago he was Dieseled?
Yep.
Because he ended Kevin Nash.
Big Daddy Cool.
Oh, man.
Could go even further back and call him Steel or Oz.
Oz wasn't a bad character, and he gets so much crap for Oz. Oz was not a bad character at all, though.
He gives himself crap for Oz. He didn't even understand where it was going. He went and had to buy the mask.
For the time, it was alright to me. It wasn't that bad. It could have been so much worse, and I'm not even going to name someone worse because we have so much worse.
Well, that was also a Kevin Sullivan gimmick, so I'm going to hate it.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I try not to name the people for the gimmicks because it just pissed me off. Like all of Russo, I'll never say Russo's name. I'll just name the fucked up gimmicks. But he does
Do what Jim does. Call him shit stain.
nah because I'd be stealing with Jim. I'd be stealing Jim's thing. I have to make up my own name
Oh,
for it.
Jim
So
wouldn't mind. Jim wouldn't mind if you call him shit stain. Hell, I hope you kill the motherfucker.
so anyway, we're gonna continue now because
Outside
we
my
can't.
Jim Cornette impression.
Yeah, horrible Jim Cornette. But let's not get into my
Yeah.
roving hate for the Russos.
Yeah. And next we get Jacob Fatu and Solus Koa promo. And you know, basically because they've been interfering and everything lately, you know, they're gonna set it up for a fatal 4-way match. And Solo at first, when it's a 3-way, says I think it's a bad idea, and that's what ends up making it a 4-way match. But
I mean,
Solo,
are we not sick of the fatal 4-ways or 3-ways? Are we not sick of this? Like,
yeah, I mean, especially when, especially if it's gonna be that Jacob's gonna come out on top. Like, you're gonna have his very first title defense be a 4-way match. Like, I get it, we're trying to skyrocket the motherfucker, but like, slow it down a little bit.
and everything doesn't let's slow it down, and everything doesn't have to be multiple people. Let's get these 1-on-ones going. Let's get more expedition skills out here. Come on.
Yeah, I was much more interested in seeing Drew and LA Knight actually finish out who would be #1 contender. I was much more interested in seeing who would go off between Damian and LA Knight and who would win that.
Same.
But no, fatal 4-way. But luckily, Jacob Fatu's good at promos, and he's like, I'm fine with it. Line them all up. I'm a dog walk their ass.
Yeah, he's very expressive and energetic. Love it.
And then Solo says to Nick Aldis that he's trying to screw Jacob over, and he says, "No, you're trying to do that." So they're planting more seeds. They're planting more seeds for the eventual Solo versus Jacob.
Yeah. Yep. And Backlash is 5 days away, so they're definitely running it quickly.
Yeah, it's such a weird change of pace, like, because we went from like from Royal Rumble, from Elimination Chamber to WrestleMania. That was like almost 2 months.
Yeah. Yep.
And now it's like 3 weeks. We're gonna have one the first week of June too.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like SummerSlam, right?
No, SummerSlam's in August, and that's gonna be 2 days.
August, June. Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Which I guess.
Okay.
I mean, I guess that's them just kind of officially making SummerSlam their halfway point through the year, their half season.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So wait, Backlash is the last one before SummerSlam?
No,
no.
There's Backlash, and I'm not sure what's coming after Backlash because they're not doing King and Queen of the Ring again.
Me neither.
Which sucks. Which sucks. I thought that was such a good setup from last year.
I mean, I didn't like.
I guess it's Money in the Bank. It's Money in the Bank.
Crown Jewel? Oh, Money in the Bank. Okay. Yeah.
Crown Jewel is in October, and it's going to be in Perth.
November?
It's going to be in October, and it's going to be in Perth, Australia.
All right. Yeah. I obviously I checked my calendar. My calendar's all fucked up. I obviously no idea what's going on. I'll redo that later. Yeah, because yeah.
But I gave the promo a 5. It did what it needed to do.
I mean, I gave the promo stuff. I liked it. It was like, I like Fatu. I like Jacob Fatu. You know.
Yeah. Yep. Next up, we get a Randy Orton promo. And on his way out, Randy hugs a kid at ringside. Dog.
Mm.
Fucking, I ate chicken with Randy. He made me feel like a kid.
Yes, you've told me and our audience like 1,000 times. I'm sure you will forever.
Uh-huh. Hey, it's awesome. Um,
I'm
but
glad you liked it.
he goes on, says John Cena is a shiny toy to be played with by the puppet master. That is him. And that, John's a walking, talking cartoon character. That he's let fame and fortune go all of his head. And that he puts out all the merch, simply so that you can buy him, that you can buy it and love him even more. And that the only thing John has raised, outside, he hasn't raised kids, but he's damn sure raised merch prices. And that he's not going to let him erase the Orton's history, and that John's the last legend that he has to put down with that Lego-shaped ass head.
The Legend Slayer.
Yeah.
I mean, it was cute. I mean,
I like it. I would have given it a 6, but he hugged that kid, so I gave it a 7.
I just think about how filthy and infested children are. So every time I see a kid touch a wrestler, I'm like, well, everybody's gonna get pneumonia now. So, um, but I actually gave it a 6.
Yep.
I really didn't like the kids being touched though, because kids are gross. They're little petri dishes of disease. And disgusting.
Fair enough. That's why I don't have any.
Meanwhile, I have one partying in the room next to me. So, but
Woo.
that's why she's partying by herself. I spray her with Lysol and she gets near me. She's gross. No, I don't really spray my door with Lysol, people. It was a joke. I hate germs.
Next up we get Ray Phoenix versus Santos Escobar.
I don't know why I wrote these in like a crazy order. Okay.
I don't know why you did either. I'm not seeing them.
I'm okay.
But starts out with Santos basically saying that he should be the boss and that Ray Phoenix should just follow his orders. Then they get into a chop off, and then 916 ring out. And then suicide dive. And then we get an ad break. When we come back, it's an Izagiri to the back with an Irish whip. Izagiri kick out. We get a springboard moonsault. And then return fire kick out. Then another big knee and a super kick. Then get a pedigree face buster with a kick out. And then get a big drop to the back of the head. Goodbye, amigos, and then a Meteora for the finish. I gave the match a 6. Wasn't overtly impressive, but it wasn't bad either.
This SmackDown sucked. I'm just gonna say it out loud. I gave this shit a 3. The whole time they were like, he was hitting him. He was like, "We should join forces." I'm like, "What the fuck is this? A rom com?" Like, I mean, that match was like, this SmackDown is absolute shit. Everything up to that pissed me off in some like shape, way, or form, and
Shot off all the fireworks at the start.
And there's only very little fireworks in like one match. So, but I mean, seeing Jade Cargo, of course, makes things better, but not even.
Yeah. Yep. Then next up we get a quick little Tiffany Stratton Jade Cargill promo there. And then that basically sets up Jade having a number 1 contenders match with Nia next week.
Okay.
And we get an Andrade promo because he's coming in on Santos and Legado del Fantasma. And Andrade basically calls him out and says you don't have any honor or respect, and that he doesn't care about his friends, and that he just straight up doesn't like them. and
Sounds good to
and
me.
and then Santos tries to call away his boys, and then one of his boys hangs behind, and Andrade just kind of looks at him like, "Come on, man, come on." So I'm glad to see dissension in that, because Legado del Fantasma is actually a good tag team, and I think Santos Escobar is holding them down.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I definitely agree. But I think that's whole Escobar's whole character at this point, right?
Yeah, he was better when he was LWO guy.
Yeah, yeah. Because now he's just like a shitty person that
Yeah,
goes from place to place.
yeah.
He's not
Yeah,
exactly.
real shitty. But I gave the promo a 6 because I was just glad Andrade was able to articulate in English. The man's still picking it up. You know, 2 years ago he wasn't able to speak shit of it.
Yeah. I mean, he's definitely doing well with that.
Yep. So I give it a 6. Okay,
I gave 7 goes over.
right on. And finally, we get our main event for the night: Jade Cargill and Tiffany Stratton versus Nia Jax and Naomi.
Right?
Yeah. Match starts out with just fists getting thrown from the start. Get takedown and back kick, and then an ad break comes up, then get a tag in and just beat up, and they are just continuously just kind of tagging in and beating her up really sloppily. And then Nia stood up huffing and puffing while trying to imitate Jade Cargill's flex, which just made me fucking laugh. Like,
I did. It was just a hot mess. I was just like, please, everyone sit down. Please all
yeah.
be sit. And Naomi, practice looking like we connect a punch or a
Nia, are
slap.
you blown 5 minutes into the mat already?
I mean, it's just, and they're all like have great athleticism. All not Naya, but they all have great athleticism.
Yeah. Yeah, the other 3.
Yeah. But I mean, there you can take a story and carry a story. They did not,
No, they did not.
and this was the nail in the coffin of this SmackDown was absolute trash to
Yeah.
me. I can't remember one that was this bad in quite some time.
Yeah. Um, yeah, they continue to do this, like, whole pull out of the hot tag, to where I should have recorded the amount of time Tiffany was not in the match. Um, because they just kept on doing these fake outs with the hot tags, to where Nia would just come run over with a forearm and Tiffany go down. Ah!
It was just so much about this whole thing was just like,
Yep. Get a failed body slam and a kick out. Then Naomi gets tagged in, and it does this unlaunch of these weak ass punches. She loves to do them. She loves to just beat people's shoulders.
not even brush their hair back violently. What it looks like.
Yeah. It's just fucked up. Then finally a hot tag to Tiffany. She comes out with 3 clotheslines and then does her gymnastics crash, and then a really good crucifix roll up. Which Tiffany's someone that every match she ends up pulling out a move or doing something that it's just like, oh, okay, cool. Like, she always has, like, at least one moment in the match where I'm just like, I haven't seen that forever. Cool.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, she definitely has a good variety and set of moves, but you kind of want to see them more often, like thrown around, mixed up there. And
Yeah.
and I'm so sick of the cartwheel. I want someone to trip her so bad because like moves are supposed to be like spontaneous and stuff like that, or quick at least. And if she's in there doing this slow ass, old ass cartwheel all the time, it's like, bro, how long is gonna keep up? Like, no, you don't need to trip her. Let's make it look realistic. Somebody trip her ass.
Yeah.
Boom, realism right there.
Yep. And then Nia pulls out a Samoan drop and leg drop. I should have made the note. I hope she's okay. Um, but we get a blind tag from Naomi, and then she does a split leg moonsault, but it gets the knees to it, and then a hot tag to Jade. She does this really cool hangman slam. And then she licks her face before choke slamming her. The pin was broken up.
That was not sexy or hot at all.
No.
I kind of want to cry and say, "Scream!" I actually did scream. Put your tongue back in your mouth. That's
Hold there. And then we get a beautiful swanton to break up the pin, and then Nia does a squash. Then she does another squash. And then Jade does a powerbomb for the finish, and
Yep.
then Jade grabs the belt, afterwards, and kind of poses with it for a second. They give each other a stare, and then Naomi attacks and unleashes those furious fists of hers.
Yeah.
How she gets, you brushing the hair is right. That's how she gets her hair so out and puffy. Constantly.
Yeah, tease that bitch forever. Yeah, but yeah, this was definitely a match.
Yeah, I gave it a 3.
Yeah, I gave this whole fucking SmackDown a 3.
Fair.
That's what I was saying. Like a couple of matches ago, it solidified. This is gonna be horrible. There's no way this is gonna be good because it was started off bad. The middle's bad. It doesn't even matter if the end is good because the whole thing's been crap all the way here. Shit. SmackDown episode. I don't know who put that together, who thought of any of those matches. But Tiffany's and Jade's outfits were adorable.
Well, for me, I think that the first match was probably produced by Triple H, but then also The Miz versus Aleister Black was also produced by Triple H. Because it's like, because I know when it's him producing because he likes slow paced matches. He likes old school style. Solo Sikoa and John Cena. That's the kind of like old school, slow as fuck wrestling that like Triple H loves for some reason.
You know what? I like slow wrestling when it looks good.
Yeah, when if it's methodical.
Yeah. It depends, but it has to look good. The moves have to be smooth and crisp. It can't be the sloppy shit. What is up with the sloppiness that constantly? I really feel like they should be getting in trouble for having such sloppy moves. Sloppy moves cause hurt wrestlers, and I thought that's just what I thought. But I don't know. Whatever. I'm not getting paid, nor will I ever from there.
Well, and not with that attitude.
I mean, I'm not trying either, but that's.
But yeah, no, I mean, they just unleash. LA Knight and Damian Priest and Fraxium and Pretty Deadly. Those should have been the last 2 matches.
They should have been.
They
I
shot off their load too early.
I constantly forget those exist because everything else just pissed me off so bad. It's like those completely were mine. Like, what happened? No, those weren't there.
The show becomes a complete drag after that. It becomes a complete
Does.
drag after that.
They should have mixed it up.
Like let's see, like 6.5, 7. Little shit 6 promo 3, 4, 3, 2, 5, 7, 6, 6, 6. But all those, that's 6 right there. That's 2 promos. Ray Phoenix, Santo Escobar, I gave that a 6. But it's still, yeah. In comparison, it wasn't good. And maybe they're saving up everything for Backlash. I don't know. They have very little time. But I guess we'll find out shortly. It's Monday night.
We'll find out shortly. And tonight we'll be filming something else.
It will be something else.
Or
It'll have things and stuff. I like to joke sometimes that there's just the economy of things and stuff.
you know
things
what?
are
And
looking up today. Stuff on the down.
Almost an hour. We made that Smackdown into almost an hour review. We are amazing because that is not worth an hour of happiness.
We had a lot of good fun talk. I feel like it was one of those things like Mystery Science Theater 3000. Like they're always
I love that
telling
show.
you the worse the movie is.
Yeah, no, it definitely is, and I'm gonna have to go through our other podcast because I think it might be a running thing with us. So like the worst it is, just make fun of it and have the most fun possible. In fact, we started off this one talking about Pokemon. That should have told us something was wrong.
Yeah. Lania! Lania, I choose you! What type of Pokemon would you be? What type?
I'd be a fairy rock Pokemon.
I'd probably be a psychic dragon type.
Awesome.
Maybe throw in some steel. But see, guys, that's how much more interesting Pokemon was than this episode of Smackdown. Thanks again for tuning in. Share, and subscribe.
Like and subscribe and share with your friends. Tell them about us. We'll be here.
Yeah, I'm gonna start bombing message boards and stuff, which I've already started doing that today. There was a CM Punk post where people were making fun of him, and anybody that was really making fun of him, I was just like, we here at Weed and Wrestling hate CM Punk. Pepsi Phil too.
Come watch us. We may film together. Come on down, guys.
Please watch us. We hate him too.
We're funny about it.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll check you guys out the next episode. Hope everyone had fun with us.
Adios, amigos.
Bye. Stop.